Thank you, Minister Chomiak. It's now my pleasure to introduce Christian Böhm. Chris received his diploma degree in structural geology and PhD in geochronology and isotope geology from ETH Zurich in Switzerland. He did postdoctoral research and teaching at the University of Alberta in Edmonton prior to joining the Manitoba Geological Survey in 2002. In Manitoba, Chris's focus has primarily been on the Precambrian evolution of the Archean Superior and Hearn cratons using geological mapping, geochemistry, structural isotope, and geochronological methods. Since 2009, Christian has been head of the Precambrian mapping section, and since January 2013, acting director of the Manitoba Geological Survey. Chris is going to give us an overview of the 2013 activities of the Manitoba Geological Survey. Chris?
Good morning, everyone. Glad you made it here. I hear traffic is a bit slow out there. It is my pleasure to provide you with the annual Manitoba Geological Survey overview of the activities. As the authoritative geoscience body in the province, the Manitoba Geological Survey plays a number of main roles. Foremost, we do regional and detailed geological investigations to support mineral and oil and gas exploration throughout the province. The geoscience information we provide is being used for decision-making by First Nations, communities, governments, stakeholders, such as for land use planning, protected areas, and we have an ever-growing outreach and education program as well. The Manitoba Geological Survey, being the largest branch of the Department of Mineral Resources, can be broken down into a number of administrative units. These are currently the Precambrian geoscience, sedimentary geoscience, geoscience information, client services, rock preparation and storage, and operations. This gives you a first idea of the good number and variety of field activities we've had this year throughout the province. These can be broken down in MGS non-partnered initiatives. So these are projects solely conducted by the Manitoba Geological Survey. Then we collaborated with the federal government on their two main programs. First of all, the Geomapping for Energy and Minerals program that's focused on the northern part of the province, and we've had a really good project together with the federal government for the last 5 years, and last August the renewal of this program was announced, and we're currently discussing continued collaboration under this program with the federal government. Also with the federal government, we're collaborating on their targeted geoscience initiative program, which is currently in its 4th phase. And there's major projects focused on magmatic nickel, VMS gold, and rare metals in this province that we're doing together. We have university industry collaborations, including CRD projects focused on minerals, and there is hydrocarbon projects in both Phanerozoic basins in this province. These are some of the governments and university partners we're currently working together. And last but not least, we have continued the community liaison program throughout the province. Starting with Precambrian geoscience, Manitoba Geological Survey started a multi-year focus on the Northern Superior province last year. This year we're in our 2nd year of bedrock mapping at Oxford Lake. This program is led by Scott Anderson together with Paul Kramer and Tanya Martins. And The team has done some fabulous new mapping at Oxford Lake in an area that has not been remapped since the 70s. Oxford Lake hosts the west end of the Oxford Lake Knee Lake Greenstone Belt, which is the largest contiguous greenstone belt in the Superior Province in Manitoba. This type of work, studying this greenstone belt in detail is central to understanding the stratigraphy, tectonic evolution, and economic potential of a vast and geologically diverse region that is highly prospective yet still underexplored. The new results from this mapping has already provided a new tectonostratigraphy with at least 4 distinct assemblages of supercrustal rocks. And the new mapping is released in a total of 5 prelim maps. And I like to refer to the suite of posters next door. These are just fabulous maps that are presented in a new compilation. Chris Cullen has continued his program to remap portions of the Archean Piquitone granulite domain in the Northern Superior. His emphasis has been on interpreting the protoliths of these high-grade metamorphic rocks. And he's managed to identify previously unrecognized high-grade supercrustal rocks last summer at North Cochon Lake. The results of his mapping suggest that the distribution of Archean greenstone belt type rocks may be much more widespread than previously recognized in the Piquitone. And this reminds us that granulite terrain should not be written off as having little mineral potential. Chris has nicely shown that the Piquitone has very similar, if not equivalent, supercrustal rocks just at the higher metamorphic grade compared to the adjacent lower metamorphic belts. Unfortunately, Chris was driven out of Cochon Lake because of rapidly rising water levels, and he started a second mapping project last summer at Partridge Crop Lake, which is part of the Grass River system. He also discovered supercrustal rocks at Partridge Crop Lake, likely both Archean and Paleoproterozoic suites. And this area has the added benefit that it's right adjacent to the Thompson Nickel Belt, so it provides an opportunity to also evaluate effects and extent of Paleoproterozoic overprint on this Archean high-grade domain, and to compare the rocks that are common to both the Thompson Nickel Belt and the Piquitone. And there's posters on both his projects outside as well. In addition to the Oxford Lake mapping, Scott Anderson also did detailed mapping of the eastern extension of the Rice Lake mine trend in the Rice Lake Greenstone Belt last summer, taking advantage of particularly clean bedrock exposures created by a 2011 forest fire. This area had not been mapped by MGS in more than 60 years, and the stratigraphy, depositional setting, and structural geology of these supercrustal rocks belonging to the GEM assemblage suggest very good potential for both orogenic gold and VMS deposits. Equivalent rocks to the west host several significant gold deposits, including the Rice Lake deposit at Bisset. Eric Yang continued his project to characterize Archean layered mafic, ultramafic intrusions with emphasis on nickel, copper, PG, chrome mineralization, southeast Manitoba. Last summer, he shifted his mapping from Mayville intrusion to the Cat Lake, Euclid Lake area, situated at the northeast margin of the Bird River Belt. This work aims to investigate the factors controlling the mineralization and providing linkage and petrogenetic factors between the mafic, ultramafic intrusion and the mineralization. This project is done in conjunction with the federal magmatic nickel program under TGI-4. Simon Gagnier, our man in the Flin Flon belt, has started 1 to 20K scale mapping in the Rail Lake, Sewell Lake area, which is northwest of Reed Lake. the bimodal volcanic rocks in the study area, part of the 4 Mile Island assemblage, which we've heard lots about yesterday afternoon in the short course on the Flin Flon belt. The 4 Mile Island assemblage in his study area hosts 5 known VMS deposits and 1 orogenic gold deposit. And Simon's detailed work around the deposit will allow to extrapolate the known geology of the deposit into less well documented areas along strike. Tanya Martens and Paul Kramer have continued their systematic re-examination of pegmatite-hosted rare metal and rare earth element occurrences. This is under MGS's Rare Metals program, which is a priority program and is also being done in conjunction with the federal TGI Rare Metals program. Last summer, they investigated the exploration potential of a number of localities located at the north margin of the Trans-Hudson origin. MGS is also engaged in a number of partnered projects. I refer to our report of activities for details. For example, Zhaowei Zhu at the University of Waterloo continued his PhD studies on the stratigraphic and structural geology in the central Manitoba mine area. That's at the east margin of the Ross River Pluton of the Rice Lake Belt. And his work is providing very relevant new results promoting intrusion-hosted, shear-related vein-type gold mineralization in this belt. Kate Rubin at the Laurentian University has finished the field part of her PhD study focusing on the lithostratigraphy and structural geology of the MacLeod Road Birch Lake thrust panel in Snow Lake. This work is in the immediate vicinity of the New Britannica mine, now called the Snow Lake mine, and focuses on volcanic stratigraphy, structural framework, and deformation history to guide ongoing gold exploration at Snow Lake. Moving on to sedimentary geoscience, Michelle Nicolas has been the lead on the Hudson Bay Basin project in Manitoba under the Geomapping for Energy and Minerals program. The last 5 years of studies have demonstrated that the Hudson Bay Basin has all the required elements for successful hydrocarbon exploration. And GEM2 will provide ongoing Manitoba onshore studies under this program, continues with an aim to better define the stratigraphy of the Hudson Bay lowland to help promote hydrocarbon exploration. Michelle, together with Jim Bambrock, have continued their shallow unconventional Cretaceous shale gas program in southwest Manitoba, and the active components have been a PhD project with University of Calgary and field studies. The PhD project is done by Somaye Hossainejad at the University of Calgary. She has focused on mineralogy, sedimentology, and facies distribution of a potential shale gas play in southwest Manitoba, focused on the Favel Formation. And another project is with Lauren Ecke at the University of Manitoba, looking at the lithofacies and oil potential of the Duperow Formation, which turns out both to be a conventional and unconventional oil target. Jim Bambrock has been doing a couple of very interesting projects in the upper Cretaceous of southwest Manitoba. He found that rare earth element concentrations in the Gammon ferruginous member are very, very high. Over 3,000 ppm total rare earth elements, and more significantly, over a third of this is contained in the heavy rare earth elements. These values are higher than those reported for some active rare earth exploration projects worldwide. And I think that his continued studies on this project will show if this is a possible new type of rare element deposit in Manitoba that's economical. Jim has also done, in collaboration with University of Alberta, some high-precision dating of bentonite beds. These are volcanic ash beds contained in the Upper Cretaceous in southwest Manitoba. New dates are from samples that were taken just above and below the Gammon ferruginous member. And these new dates, they're very precise and bracket nicely this member in the stratigraphy. This work is ongoing. There's more samples that have been submitted, and together the new data set will provide a simplified, standardized stratigraphic nomenclature across the Western Canada sedimentary basin. Quaternary geology, Manitoba Geological Survey continues to heavily invest in quaternary geology because a thorough understanding of surficial geology is essential for mineral exploration and prospecting in drift-covered terrains, which includes much of Manitoba's northern regions. In 2013, Michelle Trommelin has done quaternary mapping sampling of till measurements of ice flow indicators in an area covering 450,000 sheets east and northeast of southern Indian Lake. This is the basic type of data that's required for drift exploration and is applicable to a variety of commodity types. I'd like to refer to her report of activities and poster. Michelle is involved in a number of projects, and I'm just showing here one example, new ice flow indicator data for this area. Michelle also last summer started a reconnaissance quaternary program in the Gillum area in preparation for a much larger field program planned for next summer. And the preliminary results from past summer imply that the quaternary landscape in the Gillum area is very complex, with evidence for at least 3 different cycles of glacial deposition, as well as later inundation by both glacial Lake Agassiz and the Tyrrell Sea. So this sounds like a quaternary playing ground. Community liaison, Linda Murphy is our community liaison geologist. She acts as a liaison between Manitoba Geological Survey and First Nations. Linda plans and delivers community mapping programs that are customized for communities. She provides mineral land use planning information. The intent is to provide geoscience, mineral potential information so that the communities can make informed decisions. This program aims to encourage a respectful, balanced, communicative approach that bridges the perspectives of Manitoba's First Nations, government, and the mineral resources sector. And the program has a successful history, and last summer the program happened in Norway House, God's Lake Narrows, and Oxford House. Susan Michaels leads the public outreach activities. These type of activities happen in communities, schools, and here at the convention. And most recently, the new Manitoba Rocks website has been launched. This major website contains lots of material for kids, for teens, for Aboriginal people. It also contains the new series of Manitoba virtual geo tours. These are YouTube videos done by Mark Pacey and Jim Bambarak. Teaching resources, geo-news, events, quiz, trivia, and lots of other fun. This website was launched officially by Minister Chomiak at Donwood School on October the 9th, and I congratulate to Susan and her team for this major project. Other activities we've been involved, we've published prepared and published a large number and variety of geoscience reports and maps please look at the release notice in your delegates bag. We continued to expand and improve functionality of the new GIS map gallery. Now contains 2680 mineral occurrences and 255 non-confidential geophysical data sets that are free for download. And we've just yesterday added tons of new point and line surficial geology data to the map gallery as part of the new glacial map of Manitoba. Since last convention, a number of long-serving MGS staff have retired. These are Rick Syme, Monique Laverne, Elaine Hunter, Lynn Beaubier, Kathy McGregor, and Bob Sales. And their experience and knowledge will be missed, and we all wish them happy and healthy retirement. And this type of presentation, the field geologists tend to be in the spotlight, but it truly requires all MGS staff who have contributed to the success of our programs, including cartographic and GIS staff, client services, the guys at the Rock Lab, our students, support and admin staff. Thank you very much.